All right, good afternoon. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. We're coming live from the Creative Centre today, so I've just got my little microphone on and I can't actually test whether you can hear me okay. So if you can hear what I'm saying okay, if you could just type a little comment into the chat box. Ollie's manning the stand over there, so he'll be able to tell me whether you guys can hear me okay or not. So if one of you just doesn't mind typing that, that'd be great. Today we're going to be talking through a little bit about shutting down your printer for Christmas. So luckily, there's not that much you need to do, really. The printers look after themselves really well. As you would have noticed, if you don't use your printer for a little while, it will just sit there doing its own thing, and that's fine. But over the Christmas break, it is a little bit longer that you're going to be shut down for. So there's a couple of things that you just want to check before you go home for all the cheese and wine that you can eat and drink. So a couple of things, as I said, to take note of. First of all, you want to check that your machine's got enough ink in it so that over the Christmas period, it's going to be able to do any cleans that it needs to do. So just take out your ink cartridges or your ink bags, depending on what device it is. Check you've got enough ink in there, just that the bags aren't really low. If they were really low, there's a small chance that whilst it does a clean, it might use the last bit, and then it wouldn't be able to do any more cleans whilst it was asleep over Christmas. So just make sure that you've got enough ink inside the machine. If you do have white ink in the machine as well, then you're definitely going to want to take out and do a good shake on your white ink, and maybe do a white ink print before you go home as well. So just print a little strip of white just to get the circulation going, and do one last white ink print before you go. As you can see in one of our bags here, this one looks like it's almost empty. So I think what we'll do before we shut down for Christmas is put a brand new bag in there so it can do its own cleans. That's number one, making sure you've got enough ink to be able to do the cleans over the Christmas break. Step number two is, to stand there, just checking that you've emptied out your waste ink bottle. So the waste ink bottle on your machine, make sure that that's empty again. It's not going to go anywhere near that full, but just make sure that you empty that so that it's not anywhere near full, so that when it's doing its cleans over the break, it's not going to overfill your waste ink bottle. A couple of other things. Make sure that the machine's switched on, okay, because it needs to do those cleans over the break. So do just check that the main switch at the back is switched on and that you've got power running to your device. What else have we got? A manual clean. Before you break up, do one last manual clean on the machine. So go into your menu panel, go through the manual clean process and give it a really good clean, okay, just before you finish. So do one last print, maybe just to get it, so do a full print with white if you have it. Then do a nice manual clean, check around the print heads, check it's all good to go. Make sure the machine doesn't have any media left in it. So before you go, unload any media from the machine, and also make sure that the pinch wheels are left up so that there's the media clamps on, the pinch wheels aren't pinched down in the down position. Then they just might get flat spots whilst they're sat there being pinched. So unload any material, make sure that your load lever is up. Give it a good clean. With regards to your media as well, it's best that you take it off of the back of the machine so it's not going to sit there getting all dusty. And also, if you've got the plastic sleeves that come with your media, just pop those back over the core or the roll of media and put that to one side, making sure that your media is not going to be getting too cold as well over the Christmas break. So ideally, it would be in a warmish environment. Just a note on that as well, if you do have UV devices, make sure that the UV printers, such as an LEF, for example, are kept warm over the break as well. So the UV devices won't work unless they're running above a certain temperature, and they need to be kept above that temperature when they're not working. So just make sure the ink doesn't get too cold in the parts in there. So make sure that you're not going down in the sort of lower degrees, or definitely not below zero on those devices. Ideally, you want to be up above sort of 15 degrees for your UV devices. The other machines, they can cool down over Christmas and go into their sort of sleep mode, so they'll be fine with that. Then after you come back from Christmas, the first thing you want to do when you get back, depending on how long you're lucky enough to have off of Christmas, you want to run a couple of test prints. You want to do another manual clean before you start printing your work. So just to check that everything's working okay. So first of all, manual clean, do a print, do a test print, check the nozzle condition. And then if there's anything missing, you might want to do another clean just to bring it back, but they should be fine. As I said, the devices can sit there looking after themselves for the whole break. You don't have to print, but they do like printing. So if you are going to be going back into where your printer is, back into work, for example, in between Christmas and New Year's, then it would be ideal to run a couple of test prints then. If you are going to be off for, I don't know, if you're lucky enough to get up to 2 weeks off, again, the machine can handle that, but printers do like to print. So if you can, maybe come in and just run a little test print just to keep the print heads happy whilst they're in their Christmas shutdown mode. Otherwise, that's it. Make sure they're neat and tidy, clean, ready to shut down. So you've got enough ink, power's on, you've got your waste ink emptied, and you can even download a bit of software called On Support. I don't know if you guys have that or not, which you can get from rolanddg.com from the download section. That's a little bit of software to check the status of your printer. So if you're going on your Christmas break, but other people are going to be in work using the machine, you might be able to log into On Support and just check when jobs have finished, how much ink there is left in your machine, and if the printer is actually printing or whether it's in its menu state or turned off. That's a real neat little bit of software that you can get there. That's pretty much it. This is a real short little session. As I said, the machines look after themselves. There's not that much that you really need to do. Run them ragged in the run up to Christmas, printing all of your Christmas bits and bobs, and then let them have a nice little break over Christmas. If any of you got any questions, Ollie's over here in the chat box there. So if any of you got any questions, he's waving at you, ping those over and we'll answer those now. If not, I'll hang on here for a couple of minutes. We'll see if any of you guys have got any questions about shutting down. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for me. Thanks, Dave. The magic stork in the sky, I've heard. If you're lucky, yeah. That's about it. As I said, it's a manual clean, checking your ink, one last print, shake your ink, maybe do a circulation if you've got the white ink before you finish, and then same when you come back after Christmas. If you can come in between, or if you want to come back in between the Christmas and New Year break, maybe come back and do a couple of prints. Otherwise, make sure your media's stored away. It's protected with the covering on it, and it's not in a really freezing cold location. And that's it. Make sure the media's not loaded and the pinch wheels aren't left down. Otherwise, you're good to go. And any more questions come in yet?
We've got one from JJ. Where does Father Christmas go to recover after Christmas? I don't know.
It's probably going to be a terrible joke coming in after this, I imagine.
And Dave says, how do I register for future webinars?
All of the webinars are on our website where you would have registered for this one. We just pop up the webinars as they come up. So on our website, if you go to the top section where it says training, there's a webinar page, and it will have the next webinar always listed on that page. So you can register for the next one. Down the bottom of that page, we've actually just started to upload some of the older webinars as well. So we've got one on Introduction to Colour, one on the BN20, and one on VersaWorks 6 that you can watch some of the old webinars there. Again, just pop in your details, and that will ping up with a video link. Yeah, otherwise, I think we've got a couple coming up in January. So we've got one where we're going to be taking a look at dye sublimation printing onto rigid substrates with Chromolux. We've got one with a Roland user called Alex Liggett, who started his own business, and it's going to be all about how to start a business. So that's going to be a really exciting one as well. There you go. Where does Father Christmas go to recover after Christmas? To the elf farm. Great, thanks, JJ. That's it from me, guys. If you've got any more questions, we'll hang on here for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. Have a nice break, and give your machine a nice break too. A well-deserved break, I'm sure. Cheers.